Alright, so we're going to go ahead and get started on this little project here. Basically, we're going to grow a little tomato plant. Of course you can't see it because the camera won't focus. Having camera issues lately. So we're going to take this little tomato plant, we're going to put it in some hydroponic medium here. These are your hydroton, your clay pellets. These have actually been washed. They were supposed to have been cleaned. They look okay. These were washed, soaked for 24 hours, and then I let them up dry naturally. I didn't bring them in wet or anything. Basically, you want these to soak. I see bugs in here. I don't know why that is. Anyway, let these soak so that they become fairly neutral in their pH. I know everybody says, "Oh, they're neutral," but you know, I have a tendency to believe that, you know, they're not as neutral as people think they are. Especially when all of the exterior, you know, the red color comes off and it's actually in your water. I have a hard time believing that that's completely neutral. Anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to fill this bucket up with water, and we're going to fill it up to the point where it is just below, or just maybe, I'd say probably an inch into the net. This bucket I've never used before, so this will be an interesting experiment. Bear with me. For some reason the lid is not fitting on here snug, but we'll deal with that in a second. So we're going to go ahead and fill that up, and I'm going to skip that part, so because I can't really do that with one hand. We're going to fill that up again to about an inch above the pot, and I will do that now, and I'll get back to you and we'll put this little tomato plant in and get it started. I went ahead and filled this bucket up so that it's about an inch below the net pot here. And the reason I did that is because when I put the plant in here into the grow medium, I am actually going to pour one last cup of water just over the medium here to get it damp. Not soaking wet so that it fills everything up, but just damp enough that, you know, I'll be suffice that it's not going to suck the rock wool completely dry when I put that plant in. And on this bucket, the way that it's designed is it's got a grommet down here, if it'll focus, that goes into the bucket, opens up, and there's the water. The water flows into here, it goes up this tube to right here. It gives you kind of an idea. I don't know if you can see the color difference here. This is full of water, and this one is not full. So as you can see, the water level is about here, roughly, on the inside of the bucket. It's usually about half an inch off, but that's only because of the curvature of the hose, and that's how you can tell from the outside how much water you have in there. Now, like I said, I'm going to take this out here. I'm going to scoop out just a handful of this. I apologize for the camera work. I'm doing this with one hand. I'm not wearing my chest rig, so. Alright. So what's going to happen is I'm going to put my plant in here. I'm going to cut the outside of the rock wool, this little silver stuff off, so that's nothing but rock wool, and I'm going to put it in here. So bear with me, I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll get back to you in a second. And like I said, I got the rock wool into the hydroton pellets, the clay pellets, the tomato plant. You can't even see the rock wool. You don't want to be able to see the rock wool. That's where your roots are lying, and you don't want to fry them with the light being here. Now notice I've got about 8 inches from the top of the plant to the top of the bulb. I don't want to show the bulb because it'll blind you. Okay, now this is just a basic little setup here. I'll go through this again. I've got just a circulation fan. These are open ports here. There's no fans in these. You're just here to bring in the air. There's another one on this side. There's an open on the back. There's another one that's open. And up here, these fans are super quiet, but they're moving probably 105 CFMs easily. I'd have to give you the exact specs. I'd have to look up the fans. And I do have another fan on standby. And that rat's nest of wires up there, I don't know if you can see that, but there's a fan controller that'll control up to 4 fans. A manual timer, that's the best timer out there. You can't go wrong with a manual timer. A power strip, and of course the lighting fixture. Now don't judge me by this lighting fixture. There's no hood on it or anything. It's just a homemade light fixture I made until the plant gets to probably, I'd say maybe 4 inches. At that point I will go to my LED extreme flower. It's a advanced LED Diamond Series 100. It's only 100 watts, but man, it puts out some light. So we're gonna go ahead and finish hooking this up, and all that takes is a simple vinyl hose, and it plugs into the port here, and I'm gonna feed that down in there. Alright, and the other end of this hose will actually go to a pump. Now this pump, I gotta see if it'll plug, if it'll reach up there, will run 24/7, and it's got an air control knob on it. This is the pump that actually came with the kit. It's an Active Aqua. It says 2 liter, so it's obviously from overseas. And like I said, it came with this bucket system, which is an Active Aqua root spa. I picked it up for like 30 bucks from discount hydroponics.com. That's pretty much where I shop. All the prices are about the same. Now you can make one of these yourself very easily. Still probably gonna cost you about 30 bucks. I mean, let's say $4 or $5 for the bucket. You gotta get some vinyl hose. You gotta find the grommets, which is the hardest part. You know, vinyl hose at the pet shop is like 10 bucks, and then a pump is probably about 15. So right there, you're already at $30. So I just went ahead and bought one online. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and hook this up, and I'm gonna do that. And just so you know, I'm gonna actually run this in plain water until the pellets here get completely damp, and probably within the next couple of days I'll start adding some vegetation nutrients to get this plant really growing, and I'll document all that as we go along. But for now, that's just gonna be plain water. And what that's gonna do is it's gonna, you know, flush out the rest of the grimy dirt that's on these pellets. It's going to help get that plant established in the type of tap water I'm using. But I know my tap water is fairly neutral right now. I have tested it in the past, so I can do that without pHing the water at this point. However, I will use a pH tester when I start adding the nutrients, because that's where you start getting the nutrient lockout. Right now I'm just flushing with plain old tap water, not distilled, none of that business. I want my plant to be able to adjust to tap water, because that's what I'm going to use. I'm not going to go out and spend, you know, money on gallons of distilled water, and I'm not going to distill it myself. This is just a simple little greenhouse project for me and my daughter. And of course she's not here right now because she's out shopping with her mom, but figured I'd go ahead and get this started and get things rolling. So if I come up with anything, oh, by the way, it's very important to have a temperature sensor in your tent, and that goes to the outside because it'll tell me what the outside temperature is and the inside temperature. So right now I'm dead even. Outside is matching the inside, which is optimal for me because I can run the AC at 75 degrees and keep my inside of the tent at 75 degrees. Now the inside will actually get cooler when I start using the LED, because that, remember, is I'm using a big old 65 watt fluorescent to light this right now, and that actually puts off some heat. So, all right, well, I'm going to hook this up, and I'll see you in a couple days. There's our little plant. Looks like it's starting to leaf out a little bit more since a couple days ago. Put it in there. As you can see, the hydroton. Sorry, the camera's a horrible camera for this. Anyway, let's just go ahead and do what we're going to do. Okay, so on the side here, this is the water port. You also use this to fill your nutrients and extra water and stuff if you don't go through the top. Now, because I just want to add a little bit of stimulating nutrients, I'm not going to go and pour it through the top. I'm just going to use the tube here to add the nutrients. So I've disconnected the water pump from the top here. I'm going to pull this little piece out, and that leaves the open tube. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put my funnel in there, and I've mixed up just something for seedlings, and I'm going to pour that into here, and hopefully you can see that without too much glare. I'm not going to get into the chemicals and the organic and what I use to feed my plants with. So I've got my food in here. I'm just going to go ahead and pour it slowly. And as long as you go slow, the pressure from the added water in the tube stays at the same level because it's pushing water back into the bucket. Okay. So, water level still at the same right down here, which is good because a few days ago when I put this in here, I haven't lost any water due to evaporation. I did, however, have to change out my pump because the active aqua pump that they sent was no-go. Basically, it was not working at all. This is a whisper pump that I'm using down in here. Works great. So now I'm going to put the plug back in, and I'm going to attach the hose. And give me 1 second here. Take the funnel out. Set that back there. Put that back in. And then the water hose. Back into that. And it's back on. Alright, so let's see if I can cover that. That's that. We'll see what happens. I'll be gone for the next few days, so I wanted to go ahead and give it a little bit of a nutrient boost, and I'll see what happens when I come back. Alright, until next time.